Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle Escamilla, and I'm the training coordinator for E&M. Thank you for attending our webinar today on wirelessly controlling PATLITE signaling devices with the new WIO. After the webinar this morning, we will be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, and we'll get to them at the end. Now I'd like to introduce your presenter for today's webinar, Daisy Hernandez. Daisy is a technical engineer with PATLITE. Good morning, Daisy.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. Yes, we'll get started going over the WIO, the new wireless control alert system from PATLITE. So don't you hate it when you don't notice someone sneaking up on you? Kind of like that AGV, the forklift. We'll go over the application case for that in a bit. But introducing the WIO, it is the newest member of the LR family. It is an LR6 with wireless control. Now it is a transmitter and receiver combo, so they will not work without each other. To get one of these, or to get a set of these, there is the transmitter base, WIO-B1T, and that is just for the transmitter base. And then we have the receiver, WIO-B1R. And then leaving it blank at the end, it gives you just the receiver base. If you add a RYG at the end, it will come with one red, one green, and one amber module. And then we also have a kit that comes with one transmitter base, one receiver base, one red, one green, and one amber module. That is the WIO-B1S-001. And it also comes with this new power supply. And then that power supply is also available separately, the ADP-001C. And C just means it comes with this extra bit of cable that has flying leads that plug in straight into the WIO terminal base. And then we have a mounting bracket for the WIO, the SZW-003W. No, it is a member of the LR6 family, meaning it is compatible with all the other LR6 modules and mounting brackets. So it is compatible with the regular LR6 LED modules, including the clear lens modules. Those have a Z at the end, meaning they are clear. Unless powered up, then they'll become the color, the red, amber, green, blue. And then we have the white module. It is also compatible with the multicolor module, LR6-E-MZ. It is 7 colors in one module with binary wiring using the red, green, and blue color inputs. And it's also compatible with the flashing/buzzer module, LR6-BW. This also activates the internal flashing function on the transmitter. Other brackets for the WIO include the SZK-003W for a wall mount option, SZW-001W for a slightly more elevated desktop, and SZW-002W. It's not just wall mount and surface mount, it's also compatible with the regular LR poles, the pole 22. It takes 2 SCPs-003W to have the full pole mount kit. So you take one SCP-003, rotate it 180 degrees, and then that becomes the new upper bracket for the WIO series. And then you can take another SCP-003W and attach it on the other end of the pole for a surface mount. or if you take the pole 22 AT, it becomes compatible with the SZL-001. To get to the actual functionality of the WIO, it is compatible with the different inputs and outputs. So if you take the WIO transmitter and wire in some type of touch sensor or any sensor really, sort of like the NE-M1ATB-M, it has a built-in touch sensor that can be wired into any of the RYGBC color inputs. And then when that touch sensor is activated, the corresponding color lights up and sends a signal to the receiver to also activate the corresponding color. And you can also wire in a separate devices, sort of like the SF08-M1JN-R, to have the corresponding output. I do have a live demonstration. I'm not sure if you can focus on or highlight the
Yeah, here, let me.
camera view here.
Maybe if you stop sharing your screen for a bit, I think that'll replace it.
Sharing for a bit.
There we go.
Okay. So here I have a transmitter base and a receiver base. Now to the receiver, I have a beacon wired in. And I'm going to go ahead and wire in a motion sensor into the transmitter. And there is a QR code on the bases that lead you straight into the wiring diagrams. WIO does have just screwless terminals, so I'm just pushing into the black bit there to release the contacts. Yeah, so I have this motion sensor wired into the transmitter base, into contact 3, which is for the red LED. So that's why when I block the sensor, the red light on the transmitter turns on, sends a corresponding signal to the receiver. And because I have my beacon wired into contact 3 as well, it also activates. No, this can be wired into any other device, not just PATLITE. You can also wire in different relays to activate any other devices that you may need. Because it really is just a contact input on the receiver and a contact output. Sorry, contact input on the transmitter, contact output on the receiver. Go back to sharing the screen here. So going back to not hearing anything sneaking up on you, WIO would be great for a blind spot alert system, or you have any warehouse personnel that may or may not be conscious of an oncoming forklift, especially around a blind corner. and this can pose a potential collision risk with the forklift operator and any personnel. So implementing the WIO system, you can have something like that motion sensor from just before. And then that can trigger an output on the receiver wired into, for example, an LKEH from PATLITE to also have a visual and audible alert system. And this contributes to the proactive prevention of any accidents. The WIO can also be implemented with any type of door security. So if a remote door location does not have a clear line of sight when someone is at the door, you can wire in some type of push button to have that additional level of security. And you can place different access points with a WIO to provide any sort of notification to staff when someone is trying to access a remote location, again, by having either a separate beacon or a separate horn playing a message, kind of like a knock knock, someone's at the door. With the WIO, you're not limited to just one receiver and one transmitter. You can have up to 4 receivers with a max distance of up to 100 meters between each receiver. And taking all 4 receivers, you can have up to a distance of 400 meters. And then there is more functionality to how the WIO sort of operates with these dip switch settings. There is a level mode and a one-shot mode. So level mode meaning when you trigger the input on the transmitter, it also triggers the output on the receiver, and the receiver will not turn off until the input on the transmitter is turned off. With a one-shot mode, when the input is triggered on the transmitter, the receiver will turn on and will automatically turn off after 12 seconds. You can also change between A mode and B mode. So depending on how you need to have your sensors set up, A mode would be corresponding to on and off. So transmitter turns on, receiver turns on, transmitter off, receiver off. In B mode, that is kind of the inverse. So transmitter on will be receiver off, and transmitter off will be receiver on. And again, if you scan the QR code on the WIO base, it will take you to the wiring diagram. But it pretty much functions almost like a regular LR, where you have the power input with terminals 1 and 2, and then you have a common wire to activate the different LED tiers, and those also function as the outputs. And that's how I was able to turn on the beacon from earlier. There is a separate flashing circuit for the transmitter, and then that only becomes active when you have the buzzer module attached to top. On the receiver end, you can power up. There is a power out from the receiver, and that is 12 to 24 volt DC. And that's how I was able to power up the beacon. It's just wired up directly into the receiver out power. Now these receivers can also function as a relay. And again, to have like that maximum of 400 meter distance, you can place these around different corners. In case you don't have that clear line of sight, you can place these strategically around your corner and mimic the status from the transmitter or send a overall message to all the individual machines. And again, that is done with a separate switch on the receiver that changes it to be the repeater or relay function. And then some quick overview for the WIO system. The WIO transmitter is powered by a 12 to 24 volt DC input, as well as the receiver. That one is also 12 to 24 volt DC. If you're using the buzzer, then it is recommended to have 24 DC, not just the 12. And the receiver does provide a max output voltage of 30 volts. There are 7 inputs on the transmitter. That is for the 5 LEDs, 1 buzzer, and 1 separate contact output. Contact input. And then the WIO has 1 input to clear out any statuses, and the 5 LED outputs and 1 separate output on the receiver. The WIO is IP65 rated with NEMA type 4X1312. And it uses Bluetooth 5.0 communication, 24 to 2480 megahertz. And they can communicate up to 100 meters between 1 transmitter and 1 receiver. And then that does go up to 400 with the additional units. If you have any additional questions that we can't get to you today, there is also Jessica Mitchell. She is the Western Regional Sales Manager, jmitchell@patlite.com. And for other technical inquiries, there's also technical@patlite.com. And with that, we can open it up to any questions that anyone may have.
Awesome, thank you, Daisy. We had one come in already. Is there a way to know if information has been sent or received?
Yes. We'll go back to the other view here. So the WIO does have these status rings. Not sure how well they come across, but on the transmitter and receiver base. So when the signal is sent, it flashes that cyan color to let you know that it was being sent, and the receiver also flashes when you get it. And then there are different colors. So if I were to disconnect the transmitter here, yeah, the receiver loses the signal, turns red, letting you know that something has gone wrong. And as soon as power is reestablished to transmitter and receivers, they're able to communicate, and they flash green for a normal operation.
Awesome. All right. Got another one here. Do existing products work with the WIO?
Yes. Kind of like shown here, any beacon, pretty much any other PATLITE device will plug in. And again, if you scan the QR code on the transmitter and receiver bases, it does take you to different wiring diagrams. And we have separate examples for connecting different PATLITE products. And then there are some general wiring diagrams for anything else that uses 24 volt DC, not just PATLITE products.
Awesome. All right, one last one here. Someone asked about the price range and any similar products they might be able to compare it to.
So pricing is around 419, last I remember. And that's just for the individual basis. Like the kids do have separate pricing for that. And then I'm not sure on other wireless products. Yeah, but the WIO is great. Because you can pretty much just wire in anything that has a contact closure to function.
Awesome. Do we have any more any more questions here? Feel free to just type them into the Q&A box and we'll get to them. All right. If there are no more questions, I think we can bring this to a close here. So thank you, Daisy, and thank you to everyone who attended. If anyone would like to review any portion of this webinar, a recording will be available on YouTube and on our website, enm.com, once available, and everyone who attended here today will be receiving a copy of it via email. I'd like to thank everyone here again for attending and hope you guys have a great day.